Hello, young man. I'm here to talk to you about a very important topic that I've struggled with for a long time, and that's the issue of perfectionism. You see, when I first started out as a crime fighter, I had this idea that I had to be perfect, that I had to save everyone, that I had to stop every villain, and that I had to do it all without making any mistakes. And let me tell you, that was a heavy burden to carry. As I delved deeper into my crime-fighting career, I began to realize that perfectionism was not only unrealistic, but it was also unhealthy. It was causing me a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety, and it was affecting my relationships with the people around me. I was so focused on being perfect that I was neglecting the people who cared about me, and I was also neglecting my own well-being. But then something changed. I had a conversation with my trusted friend and ally, Alfred, and he told me something that really stuck with me. He said, "Master Bruce, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than the villains." And that really struck a chord with me. I realized that I didn't have to be perfect. I just had to be good enough. And that good enough was, in fact, very good. So I started to work on letting go of my perfectionism. I started to focus on making progress rather than being perfect. I started to focus on learning from my mistakes rather than dwelling on them. And I started to focus on being kind to myself rather than being overly critical. It worked. I started to feel more at peace, more confident, and more effective as a crime fighter. Now I know that it's easy to get caught up in the idea that we have to be perfect. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us that we need to be better, that we need to achieve more, and that we need to succeed. But the truth is, those messages are often unrealistic and unhealthy. They can lead us down a path of burnout, anxiety, and depression. So, how can you start to overcome your own perfectionism? Well, first of all, you need to recognize that it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are an inevitable part of the learning process, and they're often a necessary step towards growth and improvement. Rather than beating yourself up over your mistakes, try to learn from them. Ask yourself what you could have done differently, and what you can do differently in the future. Secondly, focus on progress rather than perfection. Instead of setting unrealistic goals for yourself, set achievable goals that you can work towards. Celebrate your small wins, and don't be too hard on yourself when you encounter setbacks. Remember, it's the journey that matters, not the destination. Thirdly, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, and try to reframe your negative self-talk. Instead of saying I'm a failure, say I'm doing the best I can. And that's something to be proud of. Remember, you're human, and it's okay to have flaws and imperfections. Finally, surround yourself with people who support and encourage you. Having a positive and supportive community can make all the difference in helping you overcome your perfectionism. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to admit when you're struggling. As I look back on my own journey, I realize that overcoming perfectionism has been one of the most liberating experiences of my life. It's allowed me to be more authentic, more confident, and more effective as a crime fighter, and I believe that it can do the same for you. So, to all of you out there who are struggling with perfectionism, I want to say this. You are not alone. You are seen, you are heard, and you are valued. Don't be too hard on yourself, and don't give up. Keep pushing forward, and remember that progress, not perfection, is the goal. And if you're someone who is struggling with anxiety or depression, please know that there is help available. Reach out to a trusted friend or family member, or seek out professional help. You don't have to go through this alone. As I always say, courage is not the absence of fear, but the judgment that something else is more important than fear. So let's all try to be more courageous, more compassionate, and more kind to ourselves and others. And if you feel this talk helpful, don't forget like and subscribe. And if you want to be a more grateful person, you can donate on the Patreon account. Link on description. See you soon, friend.